Picture a giant language model with billions of parameters and a single word arriving at one of its inner layers. You might assume the whole network lights up to process it. It does not. For any given input, only a small fraction of the neurons in each feed-forward layer meaningfully fire. The rest output values so close to zero they barely matter. That property is called activation sparsity, and recent research argues we can amplify it to make large models run far faster. Let us unpack how it works and why it matters more as models scale. First, let us contrast how a layer computes today with how it could compute if we respected that sparsity. Consider a standard feed-forward layer running today. When a token arrives, the layer multiplies it against every single neuron, then sums the results. Most of those neurons contribute almost nothing because their output sits near zero, yet the hardware still pays the full cost of computing them. That is dense compute, and on a model with billions of parameters, the wasted arithmetic is enormous. Now, imagine the layer knew, ahead of time, which neurons would actually fire for this token. It could compute only those and leave the near-zero ones untouched. The answer comes out nearly identical, because the skipped neurons were barely contributing anyway. That is sparse compute, and it turns a mostly idle layer into one that only pays for the work that genuinely matters. So how do we actually turn that idea into faster inference? Follow a token through one sparse layer, step by step. A token reaches the feed-forward block, the part of each transformer layer that holds most of its parameters and does most of the heavy multiplication. In a dense model, this is exactly where the network spends the bulk of its compute. It is also, conveniently, where activation sparsity tends to be strongest, so it is the natural place to save time. Before doing the full multiplication, a lightweight predictor or a simple magnitude threshold estimates which neurons will end up near zero. Methods like Teal, CATS, and ProSparse do exactly this, often with light fine-tuning and sometimes with no retraining at all. The goal is to flag the inactive neurons cheaply, so we never spend real compute on them. Once the inactive neurons are flagged, the layer multiplies only the ones expected to fire. It skips the weight rows and columns tied to the dormant neurons, which shrinks both the arithmetic and the memory traffic the chip has to move. Fewer active neurons means fewer floating point operations, and that is where the speed-up actually comes from. Finally, the surviving neurons produce the layer's output, and it lands very close to what the dense computation would have given. Because the skipped neurons were near zero anyway, quality holds up while the cost drops. Recent work reports that this effective sparsity grows with model size, which suggests the largest models stand to gain the most from it. Strip it back, and 3 ideas define activation sparsity. This is fundamentally a claim about neurons, not weights. For any single input, only a slice of each feed-forward layer meaningfully activates, while the rest sit near zero. ReLU-style activations create this naturally by clamping negatives to exact zero. Modern models using CLU, GELU, or SWI-GLU rarely hit exact zero, but a large share of their activations still land close enough to treat as inactive. Here the payoff is speed without retraining a model from scratch. Because the near-zero neurons carry little signal, we can prune them per token and cut compute, and the paper reports this potential grows as models get larger. It also connects to mixture of experts, where a router sends each token to a sparse subset of experts rather than the whole network. Look, this is a real property with real limits. Modern activations give effective, not exact, sparsity, so how aggressively we prune trade speed against accuracy. Predictors add their own overhead, and the savings only materialize if the hardware and kernels actually support skipping work. Treat it as a powerful efficiency lever, not a free lunch that shrinks every model automatically. All right, let's lock in the essentials. Activation sparsity means that for any given input, only a small fraction of a feed-forward layer's neurons meaningfully fire, while the rest stay near zero. Because these dormant neurons barely contribute, we can skip the weights tied to them and compute only the active ones, turning dense layers into far cheaper sparse ones. Methods such as Teal, CATS, and ProSparse exploit this with light fine-tuning or none at all, and the effect connects to a mixture of experts and reportedly grows stronger as models scale. Remember that modern models give effective rather than exact sparsity, so pruning trades a little accuracy for real speed, and the gains need hardware that can actually skip the work. If turning dense AI research into plain explanations is what you enjoy, we have a whole library of it waiting at standarity.com. Come explore with us.